neurological disorders and other disorders related to musculoskeletal system. So welcome on behalf of the AVP Research Foundation family. We are in depth that you have joined us today. Sir, floor is yours.
Namaste. Gurubhyo Namaha. I also feel extremely happy to be a part of this program where the true systemic Shastric Ayurveda can be spread throughout the world, and whoever is interested is an opportunity to go beyond the normal limits of Ayurveda. Education, research, or treatment, clinical aspect. You can have a depth of Ayurveda so that you can experiment a lot of things which are not at all explored in the normal practice of Ayurveda. So in such a way, I also feel happy to be a part of the Research Foundation, who is trying to spread this Ayurveda in a different way, in true essence. So today I thought I will talk about Vata Vyadhi. That is how we call it as Vata Vyadhi. A disease in which Vata is prominent. That is the meaning of Vata Vyadhi. Vata is, I think I am addressing the public as well. So I need to say that I need to explain the meaning of all these things. Also, it's not very technical. Still, Vata is disturbed. Vata movement is impaired. Vata is nothing but the subtle plane where the energy is responsible for entire movements in the body. And everybody knows that movement is the life. The moment the movement stops, life also, physical body also stops functioning. So this is almost about the physical body. We say the most subtle plane is important for its movement. Whatever is responsible for the movement, we call it as Vata. So when this movement is impaired, accordingly functions are impaired, then we start calling it as a disease. The movement where the movement is prominent, like your locomotion or major function like heart or brain, where the major movements are very important for the body, and if those functions are impaired, then all we call it as Vata Vyadhi. When your major movements are impaired due to the lack of movement or impaired movement in the subtle planes of the body, then only we say Vata Vyadhi. Otherwise, in every disease, the functions of the structure is impaired, movements in the structure is impaired, for which the structure must be weakened. A weak structure results in the impaired movement of that structure, and we say the functions are impaired, and then disease is manifested. So, in that understanding, every disease you have a Vata element confined to that organ or that area. But when the important movements like locomotion or joint movements, everything is totally affected, we presume that that area is more important, functionally more important for Vayu. And when that is impaired, then only we say Vata Vyadhi. Diseases like what we say hemiplegia or Parkinson's disease or facial paralysis, or we say sciatic neuritis, that kind of diseases all come under the category of Vata Vyadhi. Not only the neurological disorder, we also include certain other diseases like joint disorder. For example, when movements, the shoulder joint is totally affected, joint is dried up, affecting the free movement of joint, we say frozen shoulder. That also come under Vata Vyadhi according to us. or joint disorders like knee joint problem, osteoarthritis kind of things, the early stages, we say Sandhigata Vada, all coming under the Vada category, Vada Vyadhi category, where we are concerned about the impaired movement, and the structure must be most important for the movement. Then we call it as Vada Vyadhi. So Vada Vyadhi means this is almost like, in Western science, according to Einstein, we say the matter is contained with energy only in the subtle plane. If you explore the matter, subtle plane is only energy which is responsible for movement. So we give a lot of importance to this movement. When the movement is disturbed or impaired, we say you are going to have a structural weakness, and structure may be damaged or weakened. So we start interfering in that process, and to ensure that the structure is picked up, it is brought back to normality, made healthier, to facilitate the extra normal movements in the body. That is how we are dealing with diseases. So when we say disease, we mean the possibilities in which the movements can be disturbed, impaired. This is what exactly is known as a disease. So different possibilities have been given, and the book very clearly says it is unlimited, not confined to these big numbers, but some examples have been given to see that your total movement in the body can be impaired at any stage if you have an atmosphere of weakness like this. That means we give an extra importance to the functional plane of movement, and we presume that the structure has gone weak. We don't want to wait for a damaged structure to be known as a disease. In a weak structure, disrupt the movements in the subtle plane, which can be assessed with the symptoms and all, difficulties in your day-to-day activities, or disturbed functions of the normal physiological activity. There itself, we start interfering to clear up the body, to strengthen the body, so that it will not go for a further damage in a particular structure. So in that angle, when the structure in the deepest plane, we call it as Madhyama Roga Marga or Marma, organs, for all kind of tissues will be there, but organs are like a joint, knee joint. Knee joint is doing its functions of flexion, extension, and all, not because of the bone alone. Bone is what is exactly directly seen, but you have a lot of other small things which cannot be seen in X-ray or a scan. The muscles, the ligaments, the synovial covering, arteries, veins, lymphatic vessels, or even the nerve endings, which is most important. All these things put together only will be responsible for the normal movement of the joint. So whenever the joint movement is restricted, becoming painful, we assume that some of these things are going weaker. We start strengthening that. So this is our understanding about generally Vada Vyadhi. So everybody knows that according to Ayurveda, we consider that the body or that matter, everything in the universe is made up of 5 Mahabhutas, Panja Mahabhutas, starting from the gross plane to the subtle plane. It is the earthy matter, we call it as Prithvi, which becomes alive when Jala or water is added to that. A dry earthy matter is a dead matter. It becomes alive only when Jala is added, and we say Jala is responsible for being alive. So Jala makes the structure live, function, flexible, smooth. Otherwise, Prithvi is the matter, and that is seen in the body also. The hard mass of the body is Prithvi. It becomes soft when Jala is proportionately added, properly added in the optimum place. Then this Jala makes the smoothness, unctuousness, softness, snigdha nature, which has to be maintained with the presence of a optimum heat, which is known as Agni element. So that will be always maintaining the Jala in the proper proportion with Prithvi. So this becomes the structure of the body, so that movements in the subtle plane will be smoothly conducted by what is known as Vayu. So Vayu can move inside the structure if the structure is having proper proportions of Prithvi, Jala and Agni. This is the functional element. And Vayu can move in the matter-bound space, which is known as Akash. Not the unlimited space, matter-bound space. You need where all these structures can occupy. Vayu movement is possible if there is a space. So that space belongs to that matter and it is Akasha. That's the fifth element. So in body, we see the gross part is Prithvi and Jala, and they are continuously added, maintained, and is gradually getting dried up. Throughout the life, this process is continued, and even a second of your life also this process continues. When the structure is completely dried, is a matrix that happens at the old age, at the end of the life. But that process should be beginning right from the beginning, and it will be smoothly conducted. We say the growing period in the beginning, then the maintenance period in the middle life, and the aging represents the complete drying of the stuff, physical death. So that process can be envisaged even in a day, in a year, or in a second. If you take a second of what is happening in the body is nothing but these kind of activities where there is a growth on one side, maintenance on the side, dying out on other side. Just like we say anabolism and catabolism is there at every moment of your life. So these Prithvi and Jala make up the gross structure, and the properties reflected by them are generally known as Kapha or Shleshma. That is how we say. So the basic property of Shleshma will be experienced as proper unctuousness, sufficiently hydrated nature, as a proper softness, unctuousness. We call it as Snigdha. So this is the health of the structure. Body is sufficiently hydrated, sufficiently soft. That is a healthy structure where the Vayu movement can be smoothly done. So when the unctuousness has to be limited and controlled and maintained, other side you have the dry nature of Vata. So Vayu and Akasha together will be reflecting the properties of dryness, which is also essential for the body to check, to maintain that the unctuousness or softness is properly limited. It cannot go beyond limit. Even though they are opposite to each other, they are maintaining each other, they are complementary to each other. Just because they are opposite, that is how one is damaging the other. So that damage, essential destruction is also a must. In the old age, naturally, the dryness of Vata will be more, and the unctuousness, softness cannot be maintained. That is how the structure goes down. So we say functionally these 5 elements will be combined in every unit of your body. In that unit, the gross part is Kapha. Subtle movement is maintained by Vata. And in between you get the Pitta element, which is responsible for maintaining the optimum heat in the body. So this is our concept of 3 doshas. In that angle, we are trying to find out what is wrong in Vata Vyadhi, whether it's neurological, neuromuscular disorders, or it's joint disorders, or even some of the diseases like calcaneus spur and all. You know, when heel pain is so severe, we call it as a growth in the calcaneum. In our understanding is that The calcaneum, inferior part of the calcaneum is added with the major tendocalcaneum, and then is inserted there. The dark part was very hard, dry. It looks like a bony glue, extra glue. So due to some reasons in the overall body, for extra strain to that calcaneal area, standing continuously and on, tendocalcaneus can go very hard. Then finally the bone gets a harder deposit in that area. So this is also come under Vada Vyadi, because we say the structure has gone very dry, become hard, so that the smooth movement in that area is not permitted properly. That is our concern. The movement is not permitted, structure is not damaged, but the structure has gone weak. So this is our understanding. When movement is impaired in major areas, which is important for your normal movements in the body, we presume that the structure has gone weak. Structure is depleted with the snigdha content, or the soft nature has gone down. How to improve the soft nature? That is a major treatment understanding of all Vata Vyadi. One structure has gone down, or the deepest structures, we say the Madhyama Yoga Marga, has gone dry, comparatively dry. It's not absolute dryness, then you cannot revive. It should be unctuous, soft enough to conduct the Vata movement. When that soft nature has gone down, we say the opposite dryness has come up. Then the movement, subtle plane becomes little difficult. In gross plane, you see the restricted movement. So our way is to see how you can make a structure sufficiently unctuous. How the unctuousness, snigdha nature can be induced into the body. What are your requirements for that? So we say for all Vata treatments, Snehanam and Swedanam is the basic thing. Snehanam is the induction of snigdha things, either internally or externally. It will be accepted when you apply it with Ushna, heating thing, controlled heating thing, not unlimited. Lot of heat is damaging everything. So controlled, limited heating should be done along with the snigdha medicines or oils or whatever. For example, we always tell people to apply oil heated, warm oil. So that warm, controlled heat will be helping to open up these small channels where the unctuousness from the oil can be easily accepted. So to accept the unctuousness, we need a minimum heat. There are medicines which are prominent for the snigdha content and ushna content. So such medicines are given internally to ensure that the snigdha is sufficiently supplied. Structures are made soft so that the movement will be gradually encouraged and made possible. That's what we are doing. So most porous part in the body is the skin. So most of the diseases, whether it is in a neck or a whole body or a knee or the low back, our way will be to do the oil massage and now through the body. So that is the most porous part in the body. And oil is applied, heated oil is applied all over the body. Slowly, the snigdha content will be easily entering into the body to make all passages smoother, snigdha, so that you ensure that movements are done without much restriction. So that is why the importance of abhyangam or oil massage. That's why it is done all over the body, even if the disease is confined to a shoulder joint or a neck pain or a low back pain or knee pain. sciatic neuritis, or even hemiplegia. All over the body you have difficulty, but our route is to induce the unctuousness. And the best route for that induction of sphincter content is the skin. So all over the body, we have to do the oil application. Complementary to that, we do it in the head as well, because body is functionally 5 sense organs, we know. With the 5 sense organs only, we are connected to the external world. Of that, one most important one is the skin, where we are doing this oil application. Rest 4 are situated in the head, eyes, nose, tongue, and ear, which are connected similar to the 5 elements in the body. So that consolidated part of elements or stronger presence of elements, you will feel like, the Agni is more consolidated in the eyes. So 4 sense organs are within the head. There also the movement of those sense organs are more important. So that movement is attributed to Vata. So we say all sense organs are functionally maintained by Vayu or Vata. So we need to apply the oil on the head also, complementary to what we are doing on the skin. Okay, so that is a route through which unctuousness can be induced into the body. In any kind of disease, this is possible. It need not be a neurological disorder, musculoskeletal problem, or anything. Wherever the body goes weak, it is our duty to ensure that the structures are gradually picked up, for which you need the snigdha to be induced in the body. First route is skin. Second route is through the food you can do it. Through intestine also, unctuous food can be induced, unctuous medicines can be induced, like medicated ghee or medicated oils can be induced little. If that has to be induced properly, effectively, we need to ensure that your digestive capacity is normalized. Digestive capacity is known as Agni. Agni is not physically visible. Sometimes it is visible, sometimes it's not visible. But Agni will be properly functioning if the stomach is healthier. Structure of the stomach is healthier. Movement of the stomach contractions or peristaltic movements are properly done. So then your digestive capacity will be properly done. We say Agni. That naturally becomes the most important part, because everything your body needs to get from the food you are taking. Food may be all right, it contains everything what is needed, but your digestive capacity, Agni, has to decide whether it is properly destroyed, disintegrated, to be assimilated into the body. So more than the food, we give importance to your Agni, which is connected with the structural capacity of your stomach. The stomach has to be targeted and proper Agni has to be created. Then only the Snigdha medicines or Snigdha food will be easily accepted into the body. So through the stomach also you can induce Snigdha content so that the whole structure can be made healthier. In the digestive tract, distal part of the intestine, that's almost large intestine, where the entire food is destroyed and the essential things are absorbed. Only waste part is moving. So we say the unctuousness, soft nature of the food is taken to the body. What is left is a dry nature. So distal part of the intestine, alimentary tract, that's a large intestine, is prominent for the dryness, maintaining the dryness in the body, thereby maintaining the Vata nature in the body. Internally, large intestine is concerned. If dryness is more in the large intestine, it can gradually reflect in different structures, gradually getting dried up. So wherever we need to induce dryness, we say large intestine, or Pakwasam is also another route. Through Pakwasha, we give oil, enema, and all, where the unctuousness will be easily, dryness will be reduced and unctuousness will be easily traveling to different parts of the body. Because normally the dryness is maintained in the body, everywhere in the body from the large intestine. So if dryness is more anywhere, next option is to induce it through the enema. We call it as Vasti. So it's a drug of choice for Vada, where unctuous things can be induced, like oil enema, or even Kashaya Vasti, or any enema to be either mixed with oil content or to be followed by oil enema, where the unctuousness is induced through distal part of the intestine. So we have mainly three routes. One is skin all over the body, through which easily unctuous can be induced. Second is the stomach, through which food is disintegrated and reaching every nook and corner of the body. Like that, unctuous things also can be induced. Medicines or food or drinks has to be induced through stomach, provided the stomach is made healthier. Agni is re-established. Agni is made normal. You can give normal unctuous food and everything which is properly unctuous, not extra unctuous, properly sufficiently unctuous. So medicine also can be used in that way. Third one is that large intestine is made unctuous so that dryness in rest of the body will be limited, contained properly. It also works as a laxative or even sometimes purgative based on what medicine we are using. So through the process of inducing enema into the large intestine, a cleaning effect or encouraging the downward movement of the intestine. We all know that intestine is important for the peristaltic movement, right from the throat. It has to move down till the anal canal, and this movement should be there, smoothly conducted throughout your life. So how important is the movement? According to Ayurveda, intestine, we call it as koshta. This is most important for Vayu. Now we all know that latest studies show that Parkinson starts from the gut. Parkinson disease starts from the gut. So gut has gained an extra importance in dealing with the Parkinson law. For us, all diseases, gut or intestine is most important because the entire movements in the body is initiated through the smooth movement of intestine, which is a very long structure, 6 meters long, we know that, and it has to move smoothly throughout your life. So it movement of the intestine, koshta, is very important because that movement is getting transferred into the rest of the body. Based on the movement in the intestine, the food contents or the unctuousness is transferred and reaching every part of the body. So there also the movement is important. Movement is disturbed, like constipation or a bloating, or you feel heaviness. There itself we start looking into what is wrong with your intestine. You don't wait for a damage. Movement is not happening, means structure is gradually going weak. You don't have to wait for a damage to start. Before that, you can interfere, you can establish, you can induce things so that the intestine is made healthier, movements become better. So movement of the Vayu in the intestine is responsible for maintaining the rest of the movements in the body. So intestine also is given important role. Stomach is important, large intestine is important, then skin is important. These are the areas through which you can induce the unctuousness into the body so that the structure is made healthier to facilitate a comfortable movement in the body. And this is very important for all diseases. You get disease when the movements are impaired. And when movements are impaired, we assume the structure has gone weak, means structure has gone dry. It may be a single organ, it may be the whole body. Examples have been given accordingly. So our work is to induce unctuousness based on the disease or organ or area specific. And basically, we will be using the herbs, which are also part of the universe, made up of 5 Buddha, similar to your body, familiar to your body. We say Satyam, adapted to your body, so easily to be accepted without body making any reactions, because vegetables are familiar, leaves are familiar, so body will not react with the herbs normally. So herbal medicine, that's why generally people think that herbal medicines are safe, does not have any reaction. Our issue is how you induce. Medicine will not be curing. Ingestion of medicine in the proper time will be curing, strengthening the structure. Symptoms will be naturally reduced. Okay. So we say medicines are not curing. We don't say that. We say application of medicine is curing, or rather intellectual application of medicine. That means context has to be understood by the physician. The context is properly understood. The knowledge, context of disease, assessed from the Ayurvedic angle. To that context, you are using a medicine, you are selecting a medicine. The knowledge of medicine, knowledge of disease, knowledge of body, that makes the medicine stronger. Otherwise, it is a normal herb that we are mostly using, like ginger and all, used properly in food. It's a kitchen item. If the context is properly understood, the knowledge of the body is there, theory of Ayurveda is properly understood, assessment of the body and disease will be very clear. In that context, this ginger medicine will be very strong. So contextually potentiated is the medicine. Context is the knowledge of disease, stage of disease, all connected to your knowledge. That's why it becomes more physician oriented. Not that herbs. Generally, there is a notion that Ayurveda knows a lot of wonderful herbs. Wonderful herbs are there, but knowledge of that herb, knowledge of body, disease will be working ultimately. Not the herbs. Given any context, it will not. For example, suppose your Agni is very weak. Even if the medicine is right, it will not be accepted by the body. So, knowing the subjective nature of the body based on this Panchabhuta or Tridosha understanding, knowing the disease based on that same understanding, knowing the herbs based on the Kabapitavada understanding, we can properly utilize it in a body, induce consciously into a body to make it healthier, so that all functions of the body are gradually reestablished. This is required in all diseases, especially in Vada, so that effectively you can work consciously, you can work to create a result. So treatment becomes a result-oriented work, and it becomes a work done by an intelligent system. So result is ensured in most of the difficult diseases. Not bluntly you are doing massage, creating result. Sometimes it may be there, but doesn't make sense. Some people it may not be effective. A reason is very clear. How you are inducing, it depends upon the physician. Physician's understanding or the knowledge of what is Ayurveda, how normal body is functioning, how disease status is disturbed, what are your options to induce strength into the body. We say Beladishtanam Arogyam, AyurVichaar Kriya. Strength is based on the disease-free atmosphere, which is required for conducting all the activities in the body, and that is the purpose of life. With these few words, let me conclude, and now it is open for a discussion. Dr. Sumit.
Sir, thank you for your this opening remark. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
So I think kind of in a perfect introduction to how Ayurveda can a major role in reestablishing health, which we talk about. So Ayurveda is not a medical science rather than science of having a healthy and long life. Continuing with this discussion, I would like to just seek your guidance on there is a major challenge which has happened, and a plethora of Vata Vyadhis, disorders with movement or circulation has coming up with the background of COVID. Post-COVID, we have seen these challenges that the incidence of stroke or unexplained autoimmune mediated arthritis are coming up. So how would you like to kind of give the right message as to, because this is a reality now and we need to kind of understand the pathogenesis and modify our diet and lifestyle and other advices, what you like to give people at large?
So in the context of COVID, or rather pandemic, we need to say this has been envisaged maybe 5,000, 10,000 years back by Charaga. He has very clearly mentioned that just like any other disease, any other viral infection, which can disturb your total movement very easily, and if it is not properly maintained with a healthy body, healthy mind, it can precipitate dysfunctions in every plane of body. So when COVID happened, we know that through the world, a lot of fear was unknowingly created, sometimes maybe knowingly created, we don't know. But whoever is having that kind of a weakness in the plane of mind, they will be precipitated with a difficulty in the mental plane. That's why the post-COVID depression claims. Whoever is having a strain, extra use of nervous system, by nature of work, by nature of its own nature, overthinking, they can have an extra weakness once this kind of a disease is manifested and cured later. Cured in the sense, when we say COVID is cured, we say only the blood test. We don't talk about re-establishing the health. So wherever, whichever system is widely used by the individual, that system can precipitate an extra weakness even though COVID is cured. It can be physical, it can be even mental plane that can suffer after the COVID. So different, when we had a research and all, we used to say that even if the COVID has shown negative, you need to continue with some medications and so on, at least for 1 or 2 months, to ensure that you are brought back to the healthy state, earlier stage. Otherwise, later you will be suffering from some difficulty. So that is our understanding. Whenever disease comes, especially this kind of viral infection, H1N1, Ebola, or COVID kind of new things, viral things, there is no direct treatment. It can affect the body very badly. It can create structural weakness. So whichever structure you are using too much, you need to give an extra importance to pick up that structure in dealing with such situation. Otherwise, COVID will be clear, that structural weakness will continue, and it can create result into a different disease. This is what is happening. So our understanding very clearly makes it possible that you need to re-establish the health in any disease, especially in COVID kind of a thing, which has impact on the physical and the mental planes of the body, and there is no direct treatment of COVID. So naturally, body will be easily affected. Any system that remains weak in your body, overutilized in your body, needs to be taken care of in an extra, out of the way, to re-establish a health. Otherwise, it will suffer. Naturally, that is already expected according to. We say that weakness is vata. Any disease, even a fever, can precipitate vata atmosphere in the body. If you are already weak, you need to take care of that vata atmosphere after the fever. Otherwise, you will end up with a vata reaction. So any disease, that is how we are looking. Ultimately, you need to strengthen the structures. Total health has to be established. Then only we say the treatment is complete. Not that the symptoms are disappearing, disease is gone. That understanding is not there. We say bring it back to the healthier stage. Prakriti Stapanam. That is what is known as the actual treatment. That is the responsibility of the physician to see how functionally you are bringing back to the normal stage, thereby establishing a healthy structure of the body. That is a part of the treatment.
Yes, sir. So one it's in the headlines always we see these days very young people succumbing to cardiovascular issues or other neuro cardiovascular issues by doing exercise. Now we are entering into Grishma Ritu, and we know there are certain vulnerability in Grishma Ritu where our Agni or our metabolism is low, where our general body strength is low by nature itself. So what would be your advice, like in wake of these incidences and vulnerability to Vata Vyadhis in Grishma Ritu? What would be your general advice in general, sir?
Yeah. So exercise is a part of your routine. Like food, food is very good, but too much of food is not good for your body. Like that, exercise is very good. That is only to improve the flexibility, encourage the normal movements in the body, and not to see that your body is exhausted. Exercise is not to exhaust. Suppose you can walk for a distance of 10 kilometers, you are not supposed to walk that. You can walk only 5 kilometers. That is what is known as exercise. The other one is exhausting the body, which is not encouraged in Ayurveda. We say only half of your capacity you need to use your body in exercise, provided you feel healthy. Sufficiently your structure is unctuous, you can exhaust it half of your capacity. So it encourages the Vayu movement, energy movement in subtle plane. That is what is told, and it can help to maintain your functions of the body in a very healthy way. So in summer and all, where summer is very prominent, especially in Asian countries, heat is too much. North India and all, you can see that heat is too much. It can dry up the body. It can dry the unctuous nature of the body easily, thereby rendering the structure very weak. Whichever individual it is important, this drying up can create a dysfunction, permanently or temporarily, in a major way or a minor way. It can create a dysfunction of the body, because structure goes dry through the extrinsic factors. So naturally, traditional habits of countering it, people take a lot of fruits, juices, water intake is more, coconut water people take a lot. Then a typical example is that curd mixed with sugar, lassi, you say. Its use is very high. Watery vegetables are widely used to counter the drying up process of the heat. This is where the traditional knowledge of your food habits also becomes very relevant. We know the mechanism of the body, how that is influenced by Kava Pitta Vayu. how those things can be easily influenced by external factors. That also is considered in maintaining the health. So, countering that, you can see that people have developed a method of food habits based on the place where you live. What about vegetables, fruits available in such area, that also is taken into consideration based on this understanding. This is where a traditional food habit becomes relevant, important to counter the general implications of extrinsic factors. A lot of sweets are there. People use a lot of sweets. In cold countries, people may not be using sweets. But in hot country, you need sweets, curd with sugar, or use of ghee, oil applications. Those things are more prominent in areas where the heat is very strongly experienced. So there we say it is an extended knowledge of Ayurveda into the public living. And this knowledge has been carried on over generations together, still practiced by the people, so that to some extent the negative impact of the heat is being prevented through the food and activity. We know that in North India and all, summer, especially UP, I have seen that 4 o'clock it becomes early morning. And only up to 10 o'clock office are open, then people are just going back and sitting quiet. Then evening to 4 to 8 again, offices are open. So extreme heat is generally avoided because we know that it can dry up the structure, which will end up with a damaged structure, creating dysfunction and manifesting in disease. So different ways in the food and activity are widely used as a traditional knowledge to counter the effect of the extrinsic factors on the body.
Thank you, sir. In fact, I would also encourage our listeners to post their queries. You are most welcome, please, on the chat box. One more kind of a sloka which we used to read as a part of Vedic Subhashita Sahitya in our course, that Chale Vatam, Chale Chittam, Nischalam, Nischalam Vavet. That interrelationship with Vata and Chitta is quite uniquely told in our text. And we know that in yogic tradition, we have pranayama. And how, what are your thoughts about this interrelationship between prana, vata, and your mind? And how are we going to tackle this whole triad from a yogic and Ayurvedic perspective? Does it impact each other? Please throw some light on this, sir.
Yeah. Fine. We know that the physical structure is Prithvi, Jala, Agni, Vayu, and the potential state. So up to Vayu is the physical plane of the body. Deep to Vayu is the metaphysical mind. Then deep to the mind is the person who is regulating the mind, initiating the mind and the body for activity. That is our understanding, or that is a Vedic understanding, or that is a Sankhya understanding. Person is initiating the mind through the mind into Vayu and gradually getting a movement in the gross plane of Prithvi. That is what is known as the physical activity. So subtle plane, physical plane, you can count up to the level of Vayu. Deep to that, it is a metaphysical mind. The movement, extra movement in the Vayu can be influencing the movement of mind as well. Or extra movement in the mind, extra thoughts in the mind can influence an extra movement in the Vayu plane. So we say pranasya chitta vahana. Prana, along with the prana, Vayu which travels all over the body. Vayu is also moving. Or Vayu is carried all over the body through Vayu. So movement of Vayu, extra movement of Vayu can disturb the mind as well. Extra thought process in the mind can disturb the Vayu movement also. So yoga kind of things, yoga or Ayurveda, everything which is connected to the Vedic line of understanding is meant for, rather we say Dharmartha Kama Moksha. Moksha is the realized status of an individual, where what exactly is the individual is. Everybody wrongly easily thinks that body is individual, mind is individual. To make somebody clear that body and mind are not the individual, person is different. Body and mind can disappear after some 80 or 90 years. The person will continue to remain. So the importance of the person when it is realized, that is exactly known as moksha. You are liberated from a wrong understanding of this physical part. Okay. So yoga also is aimed at that. Ayurveda is also aiming at the same thing. So Ayurveda makes things very clear. Physical plane is made healthier so that the Vayu movement is smoother. Through the smooth Vayu movement, mind can be gradually put to a normal thought process through which you can think of what is the beyond the mind. This is the aim of Ayurveda. Yoga is doing this kind of, asanas, pranayama and all, where you are encouraging the same Vayu movement so that the movement of the mind is regulated. After that, dharana, samadhi and all, where the Vayu movement is almost dim in the mind. Thought process are completely reduced in the mind, where you can easily sublime to the higher level. That is the purpose of yoga. So actually, Ayurveda and yoga will be complementary to each other. Both are looking into the subtle movements in the body, which can influence the mind. Mind is disturbed, you cannot go beyond that. How to counter the impact of physical disturbance, impaired movements in the mind, how to make mind very pleasant and relaxed, so that ultimately you can go beyond the mind. That's the purpose of it. So Ayurveda also envisages that for that purpose only you are treating the vata and down to ensure that mind is made comfortable. So in all diseases, the importance of Vayu movement is mentioned. So rather, that is what we are targeting in the physical plane. Mental plane, of course, most of the diseases, mind will be easily affected with external factors, which can create Vayu movement in the body. That is nowadays very much responsible for creating many diseases in younger generations and all. Diseases like diabetes and all usually appears in the old age. Nowadays, it all comes in the lower, younger age. Disease, back pain, diabetes, migraine kind of disease are very common in the younger age, where the mind is overused and we don't know how to give rest to the mind. So mind continues to act beyond your requirement, thereby inviting a vata disturbed status in the body. So Ayurveda looks into the entire individual holistically. All the three planes are considered while dealing with an individual: physical plane, mental plane, and subtle.
Thank you, sir. So I think we have few queries from our crowd. So in fact, Dr. Kunal has had a query as to, sir, how do we understand Avarna and how do we go about treating Vata or Amavata?
Both two questions you feel? Avarna
There
or
are two different questions. First, what is how do we understand Avarna, and then treat Vata and Amavata as such.
okay. So I answered two questions. One is the difference between Avarna and normal one. Okay, Avarna is not a special category and you don't require any extra treatment for that. Avarna is happening for Vata, subtle movement. Avarno, Marga Avaroda. If the movement of Vayu can be disturbed due to some direct block. And then the Vayu will not be expressed by itself. What is blocking will be expressed. That is the only issue. So you can have Avarna with Kaba and Pitta or Dhatu. Whichever is gross, it can disturb the movement of Vayu. It happens in most of the diseases. For example, in the Kasa, if Kaba is too much increased, you know that the Vayu movement is disturbed. So it is directly creating a physical block and Vayu movement is disturbed. So what is seen externally is the accumulated Kaba, not else. And we think Kaba is the problem. Not Kaba is the problem. Not Kaba which is targeted. This is very clear in Kasa Gisa or Shakti. Movement of Vayu in the thoracic area or the lungs is disturbed, which is dangerous. Kaba is not dangerous or fatal. So Kaba you can deal, even physically you can remove, but the movement you cannot reestablish. So the movement of Vayu is more important. Whenever it is disturbed through the physical element, Kaba and Pitta, then you see Avarna. But even the Vada movement can be disturbed by a Vada. That is happening in Kasa. Prano Sudanugata Pradushta. In Kasa, you have Pranavayu as well as Udanavayu. Pranavayu is going up and Udanavayu is going down. So with the different movement itself, you see that there is a functional interference. That is Avarna. That is Avarna. So Avarna is important for what is expressed is a masked symptom. So you can easily go wrong. And it happens in most of diseases, especially Vadarakta, it is prominent. Vayu Prodo Rektena Avaridapan. Rekta is blocking the Vayu movement, and we think Rekta is the main thing, Rekta motion, directly done. That's not proper. After exhausting all other things, then only you can go for Rekta motion. So important, the pain, difficulty comes because of Vayu, but it's not expressing itself. Rekta is expressed. That's why we think, oh, Rekta is responsible. Blood is the disease. So we can easily go wrong. That's why Avarna is explained after the Vata Shonika by Vagbhara. So Avarna is there, everywhere is relevant. It can be termed as a functional interference by gross elements or subtle elements. Functional disturbance of Vayu actually. So you need to understand that deep into that Vayu is in the gross plane can be addressed, of course, but Vayu has to be preserved. Vayu movement has to be preserved. That's the importance of Vayu. Second question was about Ama and its treatment.
Amavata and how to handle
Amavata or Ama alone? Amavata.
Amavata.
Yeah, that is also relevant. Nowadays, the term Ama is used everywhere. That's why I would like to make it very clear. Ama, the word meaning is unripe. Okay. Generally, the undigested nature of food is also known as Ama. Kaba dominant, undigested nature of food is known as Ama. Suppose that nature is continued for a long time, days together, and you don't care and you eat as usual. This undigested nature of food will be entering into the body. In Rasadadu, you can see the undigested nature. Then it becomes pathological Ama. That is actual Ama. Otherwise, the other one is indigestion only. But a lot of people are using that word Ama Pajanam everywhere. Once it enters into the body, it's not easy to digest now. It becomes difficult. Okay. In the stomach, if food remains undigested, easy. You can give some digested tonic, you can even vomit it out. Things are clear, easily accessible. Once it enters into the rest of the into the body, it's not easy to digest out. So it becomes severe, serious. It can affect the rest of the body, dhatu. In such a situation, suppose there is a weakness and vata atmosphere, joint pain coming out of weakness, out of exhaustion, out of too much activity. We know that the body goes weak and you can get joint pain or fever. When samam is there, jwaram will be there. That also weakens you. You are already weak. Such situation, how to improve the structure? You need to induce Snigdha content, which is not possible because of ama and blood. Your difficulty is the pain, severe pain in the joints and down. Because of the ama condition, you are not able to address that. So it becomes very difficult, very, very much bigger suffering, acute pain. You cannot do anything. If you do it, it will aggravate the ama condition and jara condition. Once ama condition is gradually reduced, fever is gradually addressed, then only you can do something for the pain. So that opposite nature of in the body, what we need to address is the pain. What is projected is ama, jara. Both are opposite. That's why ama vada becomes very difficult. Olden days it was seen, nowadays it is not very commonly seen. But if you are very clear, you allow the patient to suffer knowingly for 1 or 2 days with pain. Then clear out the ama slowly. Then you can do it. If you don't know that, you cannot deal with a patient with a pain, severe pain. No? That is the issue. You give something for the pain, it will aggravate the ama condition or jara condition. That's it. Once you know that, ama vada can be treated only once the ama related jara is very well addressed. Both are having opposite treatments, both are severe. Pain will be more disturbing the patient because that is related to vata, for which you need Snigdha induction. Not possible as long as ama is there in the rest of the jara is there in the rest of the. It becomes a difficult situation, acute condition. It's more like acute condition, not a chronic condition. Jara you cannot have long time. We say within 7 days it becomes nirama jara. So jara is more acute and amavadam also is more acute. When jara is over, you can easily put oil and all. It will respond very clearly to that. I think I addressed both questions.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for that. It's quite an interesting question from Dr. Rupesh as to how to induce Snehanam or treat Vatavyadhi in Grahani atmosphere.
Okay. So, you know what Bada or Taraga over talks about diseases. As I told in the beginning, according to Ayurveda, when we say disease, it's not like what is told in the Western system. There are different possibilities of structural weakness being induced into the body. That is explained. It can induce weakness, maximum weakness into the deepest part of the body, which is known as Vatavyadhi. So Grahani is also one among that. Grahani is a weakness in the structure Grahani, and that is not important. What we say is that if the Grahani is weak, the total absorption of the Snigdha content will be less. Over a period of time, the whole body can become less Snigdha or rather Rutra. Then you are vulnerable to even Vatavyadhi. So when you treat that, how to induce Snigdha content through the stomach? You will have to treat Grahani as well. Otherwise, Snigdha food or a Snigdha medicine will not be accepted into the body. So background disease also has to be identified. Certain diseases like Grahani, Arthas, Sagitaram, Pandu, Gulmam, which do not have a similar explanation in the allopathic science. But we say all these are major disorders. This is the meaning of it. These are possibilities of weak atmosphere in the body. Suppose the weakness goes to the deepest level, you can have a Vata Vyadi. So while dealing with that, by inducing the Snigdha content, you need to ensure that if it is Grahani, that part has to be continuously addressed, then only your medicine will be accepted for Vata Vyadi. Food will be accepted for general health. So any disease like Grahani or Abhisaram or even Pandu kind of thing, which go generally unnoticed. It's not that you are doing Vata Vyadi treatment. You are addressing the background of the body, make those structures healthier, because through that background only you are inviting the weakness into the body. That's why we say Samprapti Vikatana Chikitsa. So just looking to the Vata Vyadi, why this individual has got it. So it may be a Grahani background or a Aso background or a Pandu background or a Prameha background through which the Vata has come. Weakness to all structures have been established. So reversing that is Vata Vyadi treatment. So background you need to see that also has to be treated along with Vata. I hope it is clear.
Thank you, sir. Very important. It kind of, in fact, we all know Dr. Rupesh is our colleague, and I think the kind of questions we are getting shows their kind of, coming to a lot of experience which they have had in their clinical, decision making. And thanks, sir, for guiding us so specifically and appropriately. Last question we have from Mr. Santosh Krishna. Like we have Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Prakriti for the body, please kindly explain the Prakriti of the mind.
Can you repeat it once again?
Sir, did you listen to my question, sir? Can you listen?
Once more.
Yeah. So like we have Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Prakriti for the body, please kindly explain the Prakriti of mind.
Yeah. Just like the Vata, Pitta, Kapha. I used to always say Kapha, Pitta, Vayu. From the gross plane to the subtle plane. Gross plane is Kapha, then Pitta, then subtle plane is Vayu. Like that, mind also have a, so, like we say body is healthier, Kapha is normal. If Kapha is normal, Pitta will be normal, and Vata also will be normally moving. So Tridosha Prakriti is good. In that, Kapha Prakriti will be attributed with the best property, character. Same way, mind is familiar, satyam, stronger, comfortable with the Sattva. With Sattva, you are remaining closer to the self. Rajas and Tamas are opposite to that. You are away from the self. So you cannot be comfortable with Rajas and Tamas. Rajas is a mode of thinking where you get a wrong understanding of everything, but you think that is right. Tamas is lack of understanding. You are not concerned with that. Sattva is a proper understanding of everything. You are particular about the proper understanding, right understanding. You insist on that. That is Sattva. So, that mode of righteous thinking, righteous pursuing, genuine, inquisitive nature comes from the absolute. That's why Sattva mode is always closer to the self. And Sattva mode is always comfortable to you. So people also can have Sattva domination Everybody has got sattva, rajas, and tamas in this world. So sattva domination means rajas will be subdued. It is the tamas will be subdued. They are not into the focus of limelight. Is there? So sattva dominant people will be generally healthier. They know what to do, what to eat, what not to eat. They are concerned about how to maintain the physical health through food, activities, how to remain happy and relaxed in the mind. So they understand that and practice it. That just people will not be reaching up to that plane, no? So sattva dominance will be always good for that individual. So sattva prakriti will be always good. Rajas and tamas are against, and we know that they are, if rajas tamas are dominant, they are vulnerable to mental disease, according to Ayurveda. Prakriti, just like the physical plane, you can see. Kapha prakriti, we say sattva dominant. Sattva dominant means you know what is needed, what is not needed for the body and mind. Naturally will be better. And the rajasic will be less, tamasic will be less. If all the three are there in everybody, domination you talk about sattva, rajas, tamas. That is understanding of prakriti. And prakriti means you get by birth, rather from the parents or from the previous birth, which you cannot alter altogether. Whatever is acquired, you can grow it gradually, alter. Whatever you try to complement the prakriti, that is subjected to change, vikriti, everything. So whatever is acquired by birth, you cannot change. Can be from the past birth or through the parents. So sattva dominant prakriti, which we say three guna prakriti. The three gunas are balanced in what we say the absolute prakriti. Inner balance, even though they are opposite, nothing will be projected out. Or rather, it appears that there is no gunas at all. Because they remain inner balance in a balanced prakriti, absolute prakriti status. Normal human beings, of course, some of them will be projected in what we say the Lalita Sastram and all, where absolute status, this opposite gunas are inner balance. So that it appears that there is no guna at all. Absolute physical balance also you don't feel kava pitta vata. They are there, absolute health, 100% health, which is imagination. You don't see any of the domination of kava pitta vata. Mind also it is like that. Absolute state you don't say sattva, rajas, tamas, because they remain inner balance.
Thank you, sir. In fact, I would like to say that it was an intellectual fest for all of us. And as if we are drawn into our classrooms, our memories, and being nostalgic about you teaching us. And always you are our teacher. So I think I would really be thankful to you and for the people who have joined us. Please follow up for updates on the Facebook of AVP Research Foundation. The video of this interaction will be also available on our YouTube channel, PR Krishna Kumar Globalizing Ayurveda YouTube channel, for people who have missed or people who want to recap our discussions. Before we today in this session, I would request my colleague, Dr. Kirtana, to kindly give the vote of thanks.
Yes, sir. First of all, on behalf of AVP Research Foundation, I would like to extend my hearty gratitude to respected Dr. Jayakrishnan for readily agreeing to this meet. As soon as we approached him, it was on a very short notice, and for being so supportive and cooperative throughout. So your years of experience in clinical practice and research, the depth of understanding, and your ability to present this subject in a very interesting way has definitely made this event or a session a huge success. And we've got a very good response from our audience as well. So thank you so much, sir. Very grateful for your time and the effort you took to share your thoughts and experience with all of us. Definitely looking forward for many more sessions with you in future, sir. Once again, thank you so much on behalf of our AVPRF team. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
And
sir.
to our listeners, this was our third edition of AyurVichara. And again, as you all know, every first Sunday of every month, we would invite doyens in Ayurveda and allied sciences to share their views on and their experiences. So please keep tuned to our Facebook channel as well as Instagram and YouTube for further updates. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.